Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios. This is going to be part 3 of the exterior wood graining tutorial that we're doing. And what we're going to be using this time is a little bit wider of a brush. This is about a 1/4 inch wide flat brush. And we're using the Vallejo Model Wash number 513, which is the brown. And this is a very thinned out, it's about 75% basically water, and the other 25% is colorant. And this is the brown. And I put some of that on this sand in, what was this? This is a sandpaper carton that the assorted sandpapers come in. I just dropped some of that on there. And I also put a drop of the orange brown from Vallejo in it. And I've got to mix it up here. And like I say, this will be very thin. It's not really a paint; it's more of a wash than anything else. But we're going to use it to flow down into a lot of the recesses and stuff in this particular wood grain pattern. So all we're going to do this part of the process, we're just going to get some on the brush, and we're going to come in. And our main thing that we're focusing on is the recesses that are down in here. That's the main thing that we want to focus on to begin with. And you want to try to get this on and get it pretty even. You don't have to be real particular on it. Now, like I say, now this body here does have a little bit of the wood grain texture already cast into it in these recesses. Now, they do not have it cast in as you get out here into these parts that you see, the ribs and everything. They do not have a texture cast into them. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to do almost like a dry brushing technique on this. And we're just going to run that brush back and forth. You don't want to get a lot of air bubbles or anything in it. So try to get those out because they show up as like round circles. And we don't really want that in our wood grain pattern. But you can kind of dot it here and there just to, change the tones of what you're doing. And like I say, just have fun with it. Be free with it, and just, do your own thing. Do what looks good to you. And with this buff that we have down on there, the Tamaya color, it's a flat finish to begin with. So it's going to want to soak up this, what we're putting over it now. It wants to soak it up. So it will change that base color a little bit. So like I say, just go in and, dot things around, make things, make some, darker dots in it. Don't make anything real consistent, make it random. When you get back here to like these vertical panels, you can drag vertically so that it actually looks like a vertical piece of wood. And the good thing about this is if you get a spot and it seems like it's sticking, you can put a little bit more on the brush, come back in and just kind of scrub it a little bit, and you can change the pattern of it before it dries. So that's another little trick to remember when you're doing your wood graining technique. And we're just going along now. We're adding some of the wash down in these recesses back here in the back. Just kind of brushing along, keeping everything very random out here on these raised areas. A little darker in certain areas. Now, I was asked a question the other day by a gentleman that's been following my channel for a little bit now and has been commenting on a lot of the videos. And as soon as I mention this next part, you'll know who you are. I can't remember the name right now, but this gentleman's been modeling a lot of years from the sounds of it. And he's come in and asked a lot of questions, a lot of, left some nice comments and stuff on my channel, and we appreciate that. One of his comments was, or actually a question, he asked why I did not use a wood stain to do wood, to simulate wood. And What it comes down to for me is this is doing wood grains and things like that. It's more artistry than anything else. It's sitting down with paints that we use on our models and taking a basically a bare piece of plastic and making it look like a piece of wood. And could you do it with a regular wood stain? It would be very difficult because it would be very monotone and it just would not look like a piece of wood. So, he asked me why I wouldn't do that. And I think my comment was I would never use wood stain on my models. And that is true. The only thing that I use wood stain on that has to do with my models is the display board. If I want to take a piece of plastic and make it look like a piece of wood, I'm going to do it with paint techniques and tricks that kind of like fool the eye. And when you look at it, you're thinking that yeah, that's a piece of wood. And I don't really see how you could do it with just a regular wood stain. I know they make a wiping stain that actually these countertops that I have in the hobby room here, when everything's done, will be done with a wiping stain. But you could do something like that. You could try it. Like I say, you can do anything that you want to do with this procedure. But for me personally, wood stain is not going to go on one of my models. It would really take away the fun of trying to create the wood grain pattern and things like that. And it would take the fun out of it for me. And like I say, I'm just not even sure that you could really do it with a regular wood stain. You might be able to, but that's why I don't do it. I mean, that was a question that came up, and at first I really didn't know how to answer that because it kind of caught me off guard. And to tell you the truth, I would never even think about using a real wood stain on a model. Um, so that's just not something that I thought about. I learned from several different people that do wood graining techniques. I've taken a little bit of this person's technique, a little bit of this person's technique, and I've kind of come up with my own little way that I do it. It's a combination of all those people together. So, and I enjoy doing it. And some people wanted me to do the video on how I go about doing it. So this is it. And now we're just going back in. What I'm focusing on right now is just the recesses. I think I have enough color tone and changes in the raised parts. So I'm just defining the recesses a little bit more. And then we're going to come back in and do a little bit of graining on the next video. And as you can see on this side here, we're already drying up. If I can get to zoom in here, and it's not going to show up real good because, like I say, the stuff that I do on my models is very subtle, and when you look at it with the naked eye, you really start to see the little things that I do. But not a lot of people are like, some people aren't like that. They want stuff that's bold and in your face. And if I hold it up there to the camera doing it that way, you're definitely going to see it. In this case, you're not going to see it as well until we're done. And then even then, it's going to be, more subtle than anything else. So, but that's about all we have to that part. Like I say, I've went back over this. These vertical parts here, I'm kind of dragging a little bit to make sure that they look like verticals. And next, we're going to come in and do a full dry brushing technique on this to put some more graining in the finish. And I think it'll come out pretty good. It'll look pretty decent with this color, actually with both of these colors. So we'll hold it up here, and I don't know if the camera will pick up on that or not, what it's looking like, but you can start to see the wood graining effect that we have going on there. We got a little bit of extra right here that we don't need. And whenever you find something like that, a little bit extra or whatever, just kind of, get that out of the way, streak it a little bit, and it will all look the part when you're done. You just have to be a little bit creative with it. And like I say, do your own thing. What I'm doing here, I'm just kind of free forming it. I'm looking at it going, okay, do I want green here? Do I want this color here? That's what I'm doing. And that's the same thing if you've never done it before, give it a shot. Try some different things. You don't need to sit down and do it, with the exact colors I'm using and the exact procedure. Do what works for you. I'm just kind of showing you the way that I do, wood graining, but have fun with it. It is a fun technique to learn how to do, and you'll be pretty impressed when you start turning out a piece of plastic that looks like wood. So that's what we've got right now. We're going to let that dry up, and then we'll come back. We're going to put some more graining in that with the dry brush technique. So stay tuned for that one. Like always, I thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.